Hey, it's Bill DeYoung, and welcome back to the St. Pete Catalyst. So happy to be here with two of my favorite people from the world of Tampa Bay theater. Say hello, if you will, to Alison Burns-Jackson, who's a dancer, actress, choreographer, singer. She has a couple of podcasts. Indefatigable, I think is the word, as is my other guest, Matthew McGee, the busiest actor on both sides of the bay.
I tell you, it's been a
Yeah,
season. Yeah,
yeah, and these guys are working together yet again in Nunsense. Is it called Amen? Nunsense Amen.
that's
Yes.
right.
Clever title, folks. You know, Nunsense. This is, I think there are 10 Nunsense shows in the catalog, or are there more?
I think it's about that many. I know that there's Nunsense, Nunsense 2, The Second Coming, Sister Amnesia's Country Western Nunsense Jamboree, Meshuggah Nuns, Nunsensations, a Las Vegas Review. Yeah, there are so many. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
well,
Nutcrackers.
let's tell everybody that we're here to talk about Nunsense Amen,
Yeah.
which is starting Wednesday at the Straz Center in the Jape Theater. And it runs through early August, and we'll get to that. Allison's directing and choreographing. Matthew, you may know, does a lot of drag work around here, clown in a gown, the usual thing, and he's playing Mother Superior. So, is this the first time the two of you worked together since Pippin at Freefall?
I
Yeah.
think so. Yeah. Pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
Well, tell me, whose idea was it? Where did these Straz Center shows kind of originate? Is it just the ghost of David A. Straz, or somebody saying you shall do this? Who comes up with this stuff?
Matt may know better than I do for this, but I know that this show was picked with Matt in mind.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And I think they've done Nunsense Amen before as well, I believe.
Oh,
I
okay.
think they have too, but it hasn't been
It's been a
anytime
while.
recently. Yeah, it's been a while.
Well, the thing is that the premise is that it's the Little Sisters of Hoboken, and you're all played by men. Folks, if you haven't figured that out, that's where we're headed here today. Didn't I read, or maybe I saw Matthew, you say this on TV recently, that it's essentially the story of Nunsense, just with men playing all the nuns?
Absolutely. Yeah, that there really is. Yeah, I hate to say it. It makes it sound uneventful. There's nothing more to it than that. But let me say this.
Right.
It is the show, right? But you do get a score for Nunsense Amen that is suited for men to sing the songs. It isn't changed very much, mind you. There's quite a lot of vocal work for these men playing nuns. A lot of the songs are, they're higher. These guys are belting, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It really is Nunsense with just men. Now, I will say this: some of the jokes land a little bit differently with men playing the roles, but we don't telegraph that to the audience in our performances. We are playing the nuns. I would even not even call it drag, because we are playing all of those sisters.
I was going to ask you that, if you're just sort of playing it straight, and it's not sort of exaggerated drag stuff.
No, not at all.
Doesn't Alison? Doesn't the humor, therefore, as Matthew said, fall slightly differently just because they are men?
Oh, sure, absolutely. And one of the first things I said to them on one of our first days of rehearsals is, when you put on this nun habit, you're completely covering your real identity. So really, gender flies out the window. You can't tell when you look at the people on stage if they're men or women, because they're in these just long black outfits. Only this part of their face is showing. And really, it takes gender out of the picture. So of course, a lot of the jokes land differently because you have, these men on stage talking about, sometimes pretty feminine things, but it really works, and it has so much heart to it, and it's hysterical. And it really is like a variety show, in my opinion. It feels like a stand-up comedy / Carol Burnett, type show, where there's all these crazy characters bringing these stories to life, playing, using their different voices and characters. And there's, really fun. It's really fun.
The trick is that there's some dead nuns who need to be buried because they all got poisoned or something.
That's the premise, yes.
Yes, 52 of
I'm laughing
sisters,
already. It hasn't even started.
52 of the sisters were poisoned by the cook, Sister Julia, Child of God.
Oh, God.
And Reverend Mother buried, I think, 49 of them, and then used what was left of the money to buy a plasma TV. But that means there's 4 nuns left to bury, and they've put them in the freezer.
Yeah.
They basically have to defrost those 4 blue nuns.
Yeah.
So that's where the hilarity ensues. And so they put on a show to raise the money. You know, something else that I know Alison said it as the director, but I think we've all, when we're putting the show up and we were rehearsing it, we're having a lot of fun with the gags of playing sisters. You put that habit on, you are Sister Mary Regina, you are Sister Mary Hubert, and you kind of want to do your best to represent these characters well and imbue them with a lot of personality and heart and humor. You almost take it a little more seriously in a strange way. I don't think this show makes fun of nuns or women at all, even with men, because suddenly the men in the show suddenly realize the great responsibility they have in playing the Little Sisters of Hoboken. So yeah.
You know, I've seen Nunsense, and I would agree with you that it's not so much a satire as it's just damn funny.
It really is. It's and Alison said it best with the Carol Burnett show. Some of my favorite ladies of all time have played Mother Superior. Joanne Worley, Phyllis Diller, Rue McClanahan. I mean, some of the best have played this particular role that I'm playing. So I think that they haunt me a little bit at times. I would say that my version of Mother Superior feels a little bit like Phyllis Diller meets Mrs. Doubtfire meets Billy Crystal. It's very strange.
Remind me one day to tell you my Rue McClanahan story.
Yeah.
She was filming that show about the Magic Hotel in Villano Beach, Florida. I spent a day on the set, sat in her trailer and had a cocktail with her. She's great. She was great. Yeah.
I love it.
That's actually the whole story. There's a few more details.
Yeah. Now you're going to hear my dogs.
Oh, before I go back, I'm sorry?
You're going to hear my dogs. The doorbell just rang.
Oh, I know. Mine did it a second ago.
That's the beauty of doing things over Zoom, isn't it?
Yeah.
Before I go back to Alison, I did want to ask you, Matthew, you've done this role before, haven't you?
Yeah, this is my 3rd time. Let me close the door. Yeah, here we go. We can edit this out in post. Yeah, this is my 3rd time doing the role. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
How can you, I'll just, devil's advocate, right? How can you bring something new to it each time? I mean, it's like, oh, I've done this before.
Well, the venue is always different.
Yeah.
The nuns that you're working with are always different. The director is always different. The choreography is different. So it is like a new experience every time. There are things I've learned doing the show and playing Reverend Mother, but it's always a new show every time you do it. And I would say this to people who say, oh, I've seen Nunsense so many times. Alison sort of approached the show with a fresh eye in directing and choreography. So it's been a great sort of thing to be a part of, because I think it's not going to look like, Nunsense always looks like Nunsense, right? It's the 5 nuns, right? They're all in the same outfit, but they're going to see a different version of this show, I think, with choreography and stuff. I think one of the big things is you can see this show. There's a great video. Can you hear these dogs?
That's great. It's fine.
She will not be
ambiance,
I'm trying to think. Oh, I think there's someone at the door. Okay, I think they're going to leave very soon. But I think for what we did with the choreography and stuff, it is very, I would say it's very original because people can watch. There's a video of this with Rue McClanahan that came on A&E in 1993. A person can take that video and watch it and put up Nunsense, right? Exactly as it's been done 100 times. I think our show's different in many ways and very special.
That leads me to ask the director choreographer question, which is that I can imagine, and if I'm being reverse sexist or something, tell me, but I can imagine that it's probably not, oh, there you go, a whole lot of fun to choreograph. I'm guessing a bunch of guys who really aren't great dancers. I mean, they're not trained dancers. They're just a bunch of guys.
I'll tell you though, I did have a dance call for this audition.
Really?
With that in mind. So we did have them, we had them learn choreography, and there is a tap number in the show. And a lot of times they use tap tracks and the guys kind of fake it. And that was something I didn't want to do. They all got tap shoes and we all learned a tap number. So they're really tapping, they're really dancing. And they've done an amazing job. And I have to say, I've been really hard on them. I was like, you guys are going to hate me. I'm like, again, I've been, that director who's like, got to get it right.
I don't know.
But,
I think they just had that vision of like a bunch of sort of big, goofy, sort of football sized guys trying to dance. And my God, I bet that was fun.
Yeah, but I also
but so
pride
you-
myself on like using the people that I cast, I go to their strengths and I use the comedy and I use the storytelling to make sure that nothing looks out of place. And I really think that they've all done a great job. And if anything I did give them wasn't going over well, we cut it. So I have no ego about that. I'm like, all right, let's make it work. So they've done amazing.
So there's no references to, well, sisters, you're a bunch of men. It's, I think therein lies the humor. I agree with you both.
Yeah. No, they're just who they are. There's no gimmick.
Well, let's
Yeah.
go over it again really quickly. Now that Matthew's dogs have stopped barking.
Yes, I think they're going to quit. Yeah.
It opens Wednesday, which is July the 13th in the Jape Theater at the David A. Straz Center. And it runs through August 6th or something, doesn't it?
7th.
August 7th. Right? Does that
7th.
sound right? Okay. Tickets are at strazcenter.org. And I'm looking forward to seeing it. I'll see you guys next week because,
Yeah.
I'm going to get a table down front, man. So listen, it's always a pleasure to talk to you both.
Yeah.
Thank
Nicolette.
you. Thanks for having us.
And we'll see you all very soon.
It'll be fun.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.